want to give you 2 ways to neutralize any objection. So you're a loan officer, you go to a meeting, and at the end of the meeting, they say, hey, I got another lender, or blah, blah, blah. You get somebody to rate shop you, whatever that is. Here's a couple ways to neutralize the objection. So step number 1 is interrupt. Step number 2 is to isolate. And then I'm going to talk about a key point as well. So let's go dive into that. So interrupt. We always were taught as kids not to interrupt someone. Well, we're not talking about just cutting them off and talking about what we can do and all this other garbage, right? We're going to interrupt their pattern of thought, because that is what we have to do to at least give ourselves a chance to open up a conversation that lends itself to us lending them deals and lending them a partnership, etc. So no matter the objection, really we want to start off with no problem, or that's not a problem. You want to stay very calm and composed and neutral in tonality. This will let them, really get that sigh of relief and think, okay, well, they're on my side, or they're not being argumentative, etc. This is a key point, because if you are saying, oh, that's not a problem, well, if I can do this, you're frantic, guess what? That's going to cause sales resistance. So that's not a problem. That's why we teach our clients, by the way, we teach our clients in a perfect meeting formula that they typically don't even get any objections. We pre-handle objections beforehand, and that's a real key point. But if you get objections, this is going to help you. So, and then the next piece is, after that's not a problem, is let's pretend for a second. For a second, let's pretend. So, for example, let's pretend you didn't have a lender. Let's pretend for a moment that you didn't have a lender, okay? And then do you feel we could help you with the best level of service? Do you feel like we would get a good partnership for you? So let's pretend for a moment you didn't have a lender. Do you feel like we could make a great partnership? Okay. So that is really getting them to align and say, okay, are we even a fit in the first place? Because a lot of times what happens is, right, you get hit with, well, I already have a lender, and you're like, oh, okay, well, just let me get 1 out of 3. I'll be 1 out of 3. Well, guess what? It doesn't really work, because 1, you're downgrading yourself, taking away from Dr. Frame. We teach at a high level, and that a lot of times, gets rid of those objections. But you're doing all these things that's downgrading you, your services, how you can partner with them, etc., when in fact you don't need to do those things at all. Let me give you 1 or 3 lenders. That is one of my pet peeves, because guess what? That doesn't really work most times. Well, it works some of the time, very little of the people, and you get very little of the deals. Cool. If you want to do that, fine. I will pose that is actually costing you a tons of deals, partnerships, and putting you in a box that you don't want to be put in, and it's going to be hard to get out. Okay? So then, we want to really see if they are hesitant or not. If they say, yes, in fact, I think there would be a great partnership. It's just, I have this other partnership. I'm really loyal to them. And it's like, oh, okay, awesome. So, sounds like, we're really a good fit. Why is that though? Why do you feel that way though? Maybe they dive a little deeper into why the reasons is. So now for certain that could be the issue. They really are loyal to that lender. And then of course we can teach you how to get around that and have deeper conversations and still get deals. We won't go into that today. But number 2 is isolate. You got to really isolate and see if that is what is going on. So if they're uncertain or they're a little hesitant at all, then we want to do a temperature check. Do a temp check. 1 to 10 is like 1, you want me to just go away and us never speak again, or 10 being like you're totally in alignment, like with how we're able to do business together. Like, where do you feel like we are? Well, a 7. Okay, a 7. Like, that's pretty high. Like, why do you feel like it's so high though? Okay, well, because this. Okay, so now that I know like really what's working well, like, what's in the gap between the 7 and 10? That together we can talk that through and, see if there's an opportunity to get to 10, right? So now you can talk about that as well. Now, one of the key points here, and we want to go through these key points is that remember, we talk about this key point like right here. So remember, you're interrupting somebody's pattern, isolating the objection so you can actually have a real conversation. And really the key point here is to stay calm, composed, neutral, and inquisitive. We don't know if there's a sale to be made at all. That's the whole key to begin by objections, neutralizing objections, is just having an understanding. I don't know if there's a sale to be made. That's okay. Being very detached from the sale, neutral, we can stay calm, composed, neutral, and then inquisitive. Like, so when you say this, like when you say this, what do you mean by that? Or how do you mean? We can be very inquisitive asking these questions because we truly want to understand this person. That is going to get you more sales, but you're going to have to work on details before you get to this actual part. That way you can do these steps. You can work on yourself internally and really help you win sales. We teach that, all the layers before the perfect meeting, leading up to the perfect meeting, in the perfect meeting, so you don't have many objections. And if you do, you can easily neutralize them, have better conversations, let them overcome their own objections and work with you predictably and easily. That's why we're having people convert over 50% of their meetings, getting referrals right and left easily right now. And for example, Trevor doing 87.5%, going from 0 loans in 6 months for 6 straight months to now 6 weeks later, just 6 weeks later, he's got 7 agents, not the ones that are broke agents just trying to send him, just want to get coffee, for example, right? There's just coffee buddies. Actual real agents have other opportunities. They could be working with other loan officers, sending him business, getting 25 new referral partners, 25 referrals from those 7 partners in just 6 weeks. And really, that's over the course of the last month that he's got those referrals. So how can he continue to repeat that? Doing the exact same things, goes from 25, 50, 75, 100. What does his business look like? What does your business specifically look like if you can add another 25 referrals, 50 referrals, 75